My name is Matt Greck-Smith and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Swingers, the Crazy Golf Club. People were looking for more from their nights out, and we looked around and you could play a bit of upmarket ping pong or you could go bowling. We said, what if you could go and play crazy golf in a really immersive, theatrical environment where the food, the drink and the service were really good as well. And Swingers was born. We started Swingers with a pop-up just to test the idea, and it was in this leaky old warehouse in East London. It was kind of a sellout success from the start. It went viral and crashed the website because people were so excited by the idea that they could come and play crazy golf, be served cocktails while they play, and then have a patty and bun burger afterwards. And so it really grew from there. For us, the problem is that with Crazy Golf, there's nothing out there that we can use. The way we sell our inventory is completely different to restaurants and bars and perhaps even other competitive socialising venues. So there was no off-the-peg solution for us.
Having been with Swingers for quite a while, I've seen multiple different platforms that we've used over the years. And when it came to wanting a new system provider, we really wanted to find a platform that was going to allow us to grow our online presence, have more stability, the ability to be more dynamic with what we were selling, and be able to scale quickly as we were scaling our business.
So our first solution, I think, was a website that cost about £15,000 to build, and probably did millions of pounds of revenue going through it. And we realised after a while it was pretty precarious and was not the right shop window for us. So we've moved to a few different kind of solutions with different developers, but they always had massive limitations. They were always going down for extended periods.
The previous provider was a bespoke web build on the front end, but then on the more e-commerce and the ticketing side of things, that was a separate platform. So there was quite a lot of complexity with getting the two to talk and that like seamless integration between both. Both of the platforms had their own limitations in terms of what you were able to do yourself versus what you would need a developer to help with. So it just meant we weren't able to be as dynamic or get things done as quickly as we would have liked, or the ability to be able to try new things.
Really, they were just very basic kind of merchant gateways where people could click, buy a ticket in a slot, and it was a very kind of basic experience for them. And our teams knew that there was a way more revenue potential out there if they could just create different products. So give our guests a better experience, but also a bit more variety in what they were able to buy with us.
One of our biggest challenges is that we have to manage multiple different types of inventory, and all the systems that do that don't actually work hand in hand. So what we always find ourselves in the process of doing is trying to manually link up all of our processes, which adds a lot of time, adds a lot of need for additional resource, and actually means that we can't move very efficiently because we're having to constantly build these sort of workarounds to actually deliver the end product to our guests.
How we previously managed group bookings was unbelievably manual. We had multiple systems which didn't feed or integrate into each other, so it was very disconnected. There was this led to a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of workarounds and a lot of missed opportunities from a lead perspective as well.
We were definitely at our wits' end at that point, having been through a number of other different solutions and even tried building our own.
So we had been trying to build our own tool for quite some time. Many systems can do one thing, can't do everything. And in trying to do that, we kept getting stuck.
Building our own solution was an absolute nightmare. It was expensive, we're not experts on it. The world of software is constantly evolving, so it was not a positive experience for us. And then Ben came along kind of at exactly the right moment with exactly the right solution.
What Easol allowed us to do was to take a step back and to look at the things that we were trying to achieve and find a way to get there. Managing inventory, not just of our golf space, but inventory of our actual physical space, and also the sale of our food and beverage all through one sort of holistic platform. And more broadly, to do this through a platform online rather than to do this by the addition of many, many sellers trying to do all of this stuff manually.
So now working with Easol, we kind of have a one-stop shop for everything we need to do in relation to the front-end website. The team are able to go in and make any changes they want, be really dynamic in what they want to show on the website. It's kind of saved a lot of time. We're not waiting on developers to make changes for us. Also, since moving to Easol, we found we've been able to stay very true to our brand identity, but give it a fresh look and feel and really kind of modernize how that looks across our website. And Easol's given us that flexibility with the array of different like templates and tools within the system.
Now that we've migrated over to Easol, it's really allowed us to focus on the booking journey, not only from a customer's perspective, but also from a sales team perspective. So it's increased productivity within the team, it's led to higher conversions within the team and increased revenue, not only within the group sales department, but also within our online, on the online segment as well.
So now we're able to put different products and enhancements in front of our guests as part of that booking journey, which we haven't been able to do before. And as a result of that, we've really seen an increase in spend per head.
Something else that we've never been able to do really has been able to sell second rounds of golf through the website until we actually did this through Easol, particularly as we drive business and want to drive additional revenue during non-peak times. So things like that have really actually made our team's lives easier, but have also been real revenue drivers for the business.
And from a more technical standpoint, we've seen a real increase in our searchability of our site, and the rankings that we're seeing across Google from an SEO perspective have been really positive since moving across to the Easol platform.
We've got 3 different sales channels that we use within Easol. We've got the online store, which is focused on our web bookings. So we're receiving inquiries and bookings directly through our website that drop into Easol. We then have inquiries that allow us to chase up in our lead and pipeline. And then we have our recommendations, which we send out to clients, which is allowing us to convert those bookings in a timely manner.
So with Easol, what we've now been able to do is bundle loads of those products together in different packages, and they can just book them instantaneously on the website. Whereas previously, we wouldn't have been able to offer up packages that had space, for instance. That would have to be done via our group sales team, who could physically book that space out and make sure it was taken care of for the guest. So now that can all be done on Easol, so it makes it a really seamless journey for our guests, which then helps us increase our spend per head. It means that the guests can just book directly and book what they want without having to speak to someone. And we know that that's kind of, in this day and age, what people want. They want to just be able to visit a website, get their booking, have everything included, and then enjoy their experience.
For years, we had operated in session times, and our session times were long. They were 90 minutes. This wasn't necessarily the way guests wanted to interact with our business, because it meant that they had to ascribe 90 minutes to the activity and plan for 90 minutes in the venue, when swingers is something that at its best can fit into anybody's day at any time. With Easol, we've changed to a 30-minute session. It has allowed us to process people into the venue quicker, getting them to the bars quicker, getting them onto the course quicker, and cutting down the amount of time that they're waiting in line.
It's allowed us to have full control of our stock management, not only from golf, but also from our space as well. So we've been able to set up like a hierarchy and prioritization order within Easol, which allows us to effectively fill the venue.
What Easol offered was experience in the experience space, but also in working hand in hand with us to actually understand what our needs were, what our problems were, what our use case was, and helping to build something that would actually address those issues.
One of the big advantages from working with Easol is how well you get to know the team there. And it's almost like their team become part of your team. So you're able to just give direct feedback, have open and honest conversations about what's working, what potentially needs enhancing. And they're really receptive to that.
Easol also does an incredible job of doing discovery, not only internally within swingers, but also externally as well, to ensure that we're getting the best product for our concept and for our business.
I think what's great about our relationship with Easol is that it's a partnership, and that we are working together to achieve kind of joint goals. We want to provide an ever improving guest experience where guests can understand our product and, you know, spend as much of their money as possible with us, quite frankly. So we want to improve our revenue generating capability, and Easol are with us, helping us to understand guest behaviour, what's working and what's not, is the most important project we have going on in our business, because it really speaks to the revenue potential of the business, the enjoyment and the experience of our guests. And so it's absolutely fundamental to how Swingers will grow and evolve. We're operating much more efficiently with Easol because it's just a well thought out platform that really streamlines all of the processes. So we've worked in quite analog, old school way up to now. Sometimes there were multiple spreadsheets running in order to look after the group bookings, laborious, duplicative processes. And now we're with Easol, all of that gets streamlined into one carefully thought out process. And it's revolutionary for our team because they get to spend more time with the guests and less time on mind-numbing bureaucracy.
A big impact that Easol has had on the team is the ability to be much more agile in our approach to how we sell and what we sell. The team save a lot of time by being able to just switch on new products, new packages, and just trial new ideas, where previously we've not been able to do that. If we've had an idea for an event or a package that we want to sell online, that's taken multiple steps to make that happen. Whereas with Easol, it's kind of like a one-click approach. We can just add that into a booking journey, add it onto the front end and make it happen and start selling. So I think it's invigorated the team because they're able to see their ideas come to life quickly and just saved a lot of time for us all.
If we had wanted to do a Valentine's Day promotion before, that would have required months and months of planning. It would have required months and months of dev time for the website team. We wouldn't have actually been able to drive business in such a way that we would have even attempted to do that.
With the implementation of Easol into our venues, we've been able to automate and streamline our processes, which has allowed us to have a lot more control over the stock management, not only in our space, but also our crazy golf as well as our carnival. And it's allowed us to really drive revenue across the different market segments and our different sales channels as well.
So I'll say this. So I think one of the things that we've worked with Easol really closely on is that not every market is the same. We rolled Easol out first in the UK, and that was a way of working that we had sort of had embedded in us for almost a decade in our time operating in business in the UK. But as we've come into the States, every sort of state has a different jurisdiction and operates a little bit differently. That can be taxes, that can be service charges, that can be all sorts of sort of specific things that each particular venue needs. We've been able to find things that work across the different markets, but they've also been very receptive to the nuances of each specific market and what each specific market needs.
Easol's helped us to unlock a number of new revenue streams just because it's got this incredible built-in functionality on the website and the platform. So whether it's things they've helped us to put live or just things that our team can put live by using the tools on the website, we've been able to sell additional food and drink, rounds of golf, access to our new carnival product. We're looking at being able to sell merch and gift vouchers in the near future. So there's just so much potential with the Easol platform, and we're really only just getting started.